Sometimes I do get asked, like, why do I do everything that I do? It's like, why do I go to the effort of like making art, or why do I go to the effort of making clothes and sewing and all that sort of stuff? Like, I could get all that stuff done so easily by someone else. Like, I could just buy that from Kmart or Big W or somewhere like that and just have all the clothes pre-made, ready to go. It takes basically no time. It's like 20 bucks for a shirt. It's easy. Or people sometimes say to me like, oh, why do you go through the effort of like putting so much time into making art? Like, what's the point? Like, you can't make a career out of it. You're not going to make much money out of it. Like, you're not going to, it takes so long. Why not just like generate it with an AI engine? It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to just have it done like that. I don't want it done by someone else in a way that I don't like. I do what I do because I like doing it. I love creating. I love making. I love, like, when I sew something, I'm putting love into every stitch. Well, not just love, but a bit of, bit of frustration and anger too. But all of that goes into there, and I love doing it. It's fun. It's something that I can channel my creativity into and energy into to make something that then I can appreciate and use, or just see. Or maybe if I don't even like it, someone else will appreciate it. Someone else might like it. Who knows? But I do what I do because I love doing it, and I wouldn't live any other way. It's hard. Well, if I didn't love doing it, what I do would be hard. The sheer amount of hours I put into everything, the amount of time I dedicate just to learning the basics, go over learning and learning, whether it be painting, drawing, studying anatomy, or just doing stitching, learning basic stitches over and over on smaller things before doing like a larger, more important project, one that uses more expensive fabrics and has a lot more stuff involved and all that sort of stuff. But I do it because I love it, and because I love it, it's not hard. It's not it. The hours seem to just vanish. Every moment I spend doing it, I enjoy it. I do it because I love doing it. And because I love it, all the hours just disappear. For other people who don't like it, it would be grueling work. There's so many hours, just endless hours studying, planning, revising, doing. If you didn't like doing what I did, it'd feel like a second job. Because essentially every moment I'm home that I'm not organizing myself or making dinner or doing exercise or some other thing I have to do in life, I'm spending that time making, whether it's just scribbling or drafting patterns or actually sewing or painting or drawing or anything like that, or like revising something I've made with someone else who knows more than me. I spend every waking second I can doing those things. And some people say that just seems so exhausting. I guess physically it can be, but it's soul nourishing to me. I do it because I love doing it. I do it because if I didn't do it, I would feel how I used to feel. Years ago, probably about 4 years ago now, when I was sort of between high school and university, partway through university, I pretty much stopped doing any of my craft things. I stopped drawing. I wasn't doing any sewing. I wasn't doing any blacksmithing or bow making or anything like that. And I was pretty miserable. And I didn't put two and two together at that point in time, that link between not doing the creative things and my misery. And I didn't realize that until my final year of university, where I was working a job. And so, I was studying part-time and working a job. And then I started doing my craft things again. I started drawing again. And immediately I felt better. Having just a little bit of time, even a few fragments of time here and there to draw, to scribble, just to get ideas and frustration and all that sort of stuff out onto paper, onto my iPad, or onto anything like that. It just made me feel better. I felt like it was like healing in a way, I guess. And in that healing, yeah, and so I just made sure after that point in time that I always had a little bit of time to do art. And now that I'm out of university and I've been working full time for about 2 years, I was able to actually have heaps of time now to pursue my artistic and creative endeavors. And that's because I have a very strong work-life balance. I have a very strong work-life separation. I don't have any work apps or emails on my phone. I do not do any work stuff outside of work hours. It's like, no. I get paid like trash, so I'm not going to work any more hours outside of work. Fuck that shit. I'm not gonna contribute to that sort of society. And so nowadays, I always have time to make something, even if it's just like a shitty little scribble here and there, just like, I just gotta get this idea out of my head onto the paper, just done. I just gotta have something. And sometimes I'll be working, often I'll still be working on a big project, and I'll still be working on a big project, and I will be, just working on it bit by bit, afternoon by afternoon, and just chipping away at it, and getting it more and more done as time goes on. And that, I always just have something that on the go. And like recently, I've been doing so much hand sewing. I actually take it on the bus. I take it to work at lunchtime. People, see me just hand sewing, and they ask me questions. They have a chat about it, and I just love doing it. And I feel like I'm using the time, and by the end of that little period of time, or that accumulation of those periods of time that build together to work towards the final piece, by the end of all that time spent, I'll actually have something to be able to look at, use, and reflect on, and go, oh wow, this is actually really, really cool. I made this thing with all that time. And it's sort of like, if I wasn't doing that, if I wasn't putting my time into these things, I guess I would just be languishing in the endless doom scroll of TikTok or bloody Facebook Reels or shit like that. And I used to do that a lot. When I was in my second year of university, I would be just wallowing in my own just self-pity, I guess, just watching, just doom scrolling to eternity. I'd like stay up until past 1, 2 a.m., wake up at midday the next day. I would just stay on my phone for hours and hours, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it felt so shit. I just wasn't doing any of the things that I needed to do in order to make myself feel good. There are other factors too, like lack of exercise and also just poor mental health at that point in time, but I've begun to understand that my mental health is very much also connected to how much art and creative pursuits I get to engage in. So if I don't get to engage in my creative stuff, then my mental health begins to decline. And I just love doing the stuff I do. And I think we all need to embrace that more. I think a lot of us are given to the concerns of other people when it comes to creative endeavors, whether it be like physically like painting, or whether it be making music, or cooking, or needlework, or leatherwork, or even making games or stuff like that. All these creative pursuits, they help us. They're something we can channel our energy towards, chaotic energy maybe, to help us find some peace, or just help us create something that we can look back on and really appreciate. I think a lot of people get hung up on other people's opinions on those creative pursuits. Other people look in and they go, oh, you're not going to be as good as these other people who are like the best in the world, so what's the point of even doing it? You're not going to make money. Or they think that you're not going to be able to make money off this thing or make a living off it, so they tell you, no, don't do that. Don't do that. it's a waste of time. You're not going to get anywhere with that. That doesn't work. Give up. You're wasting your time. It's like, no, you're not wasting your time. You're not as good as someone else that's been doing it all their lives. You may never be as good as that person, but that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how that thing affects you. And if that makes your life better, if it makes it feel like you're growing as a person, as a creative, then don't stop yourself from doing that thing. The worst thing you could do is stop yourself from doing that thing, because if you do that and you stop yourself from engaging in that and actually doing that, you might be missing out on like the best thing that you've ever experienced in your life. It could be life-changing. Who knows? You might get into the hobby, then fall down the rabbit hole really deep and hard, and then you might get so obsessed with this thing that you're like in the top 1% of people who know shit about this, and you find another person who's like in the top 1% in this fucking hobby who's also like fallen down and gotten like feral crazy over this thing, and then who knows, might end up being your partner, love of your life. Yeah, it's an opportunity worth taking. If you don't take it, you're never going to know. So, life is finite. We only have a certain number of days to do everything that we want to do. I think that's something that's really made me reconsider my life and reconsider the way I approach things, because our time is finite. We've only got so many weeks left, so many days to try everything that we want to do, but that we want to try, do all the things we want to do. Only so much time left to spend with those that we care about. So, to those who tell you that you shouldn't do that thing that you want to do, that thing that you're passionate about, that creative thing, that endeavor, that sets your soul fire ablaze, I say to them, fuck off! Because you've got to just do that thing. Because if you don't do that thing, you're going to be burning a little bit dimmer. You're not going to be feeling quite as good. Heck, if you never do that thing, you might never actually figure out who you are. You may live your whole life unsure of yourself, as so many people do. You don't know who you are until you do the thing. So just do it. Really, just do it. I know it's like I know it's cheesy and almost like a fucking corporate saying now, but just do it. It will change your life. So, love yous, and I hope you do that little thing, and I hope it makes your soul fires burn just a little bit brighter. Bye.